What have you been up to lately?
What have I been up to? Well, tell you what I'm about to go and do. I'm going to witch school. I've got to go to witch school in New Zealand because I'm doing a New Zealand movie down there, and they have booked me for all this crazy kind of, I don't know, herbs and chanting and tarot and all this kind of, witchy poo stuff. So I'm going deep.
With all the genre work you've done over the years, have you picked up any actual
Skills?
legitimate,
No.
yes, magic or
Not a one. I can do a stunt fight. That's about it. No, have I picked up any what?
any actual mythological or magical stuff that's related to any like legitimate religion or practice?
Not a one. Not a one.
With all the different characters that you've played, everything from robots to warrior princesses, what's it like playing a millennial old demon or entity? How is that a big change up for you?
The difference in this one is that she's so shifty. I think, and I find this in old cultures that go really deep. For example, you go to Rome. They've been conquered by so many people that what you see is not what you get. I think she's the character equivalent of Italy. She's like Italy. It looks like one thing on the surface, but she's got many, many layers of sfumatura underneath.
So going into the new season, was there any pressure for you guys to say, how do we top that with what it was in prior season?
Pressure. You'd have to ask the writers that because they topped it so. They went so over the top in beating it in terms of writing really huge episodes, and the storylines are pretty manic to shoot with our time schedule and on the budget. They were really, really audacious, and I'm proud to say that the crew and everybody stepped up to the demands of the writers. You were going to ask something.
I was just about piggybacking on what you said about how she's always shifting in alliances and everything. I was just curious, is that how she's lasted this long?
Oh yes, I think that's just like Italy. They you gotta flex and bend and to survive. Yeah.
How much fun is it doing these sort of things?
Very. Comic-Con? I'm so jaded, but I just think it's normal. It's just a normal day at the office. But it's only when I'm with somebody who's never been that I see it through their eyes. But that doesn't happen very often. I'm with a bunch of other jaded people. No, it's lovely doing it with Dana and Ray because it's so exciting. They appreciate it freshly.
What can you tell us about season 2? Can you tease anything for us? We've seen the pilot or the first
More about the
premiere.
partnership with
Well, Ruby spends a lot of time with both Pablo and Kelly, but separately. She has these developing relationships with those two who really don't trust or like her at all. But those relationships evolve and they affect Ruby. So the Ruby that you get at the beginning is not who she is at the end of season 2. She goes through a lot of changes.
So as you continue to explore the characters, anything you find you're surprised to learn about yourself?
About myself, Lucy? No, that kind of growth doesn't happen at work. No.
Your characters fight against demons. Which do you think are the demons of this society? And how we
So say that question again, Donna?
Yes.
Which of the demons?
Yes. Which do you think are the demons of this society? And how you fight with this against this?
Me personally?
Yes.
I think fear is the root of all evil. There's a lot of fear going around at the moment, and I don't like how it's leading to a lot of fascist rhetoric, and I think that's a really horrible thing. I'm absolutely, I want to conduct my life counter to that. And be more inclusive, be more flexible. Be sensitive without being, without being a blubbering crybaby, but be sensitive to changes. And the only way to actually affect change is through communion, really, sort of bipartisan discussion, so that you work off commonalities and not just from points of the point of view of differences. That just doesn't work. So, while I'm anyway, that's it. That's the end of that conversation. Why would I dribble on?
How about the special effects and the blood? I know Bruce is historically an enemy to Caro syrup, but how do you deal with all the being covered in wonderful things?
Well, the technology now is so good. Like, things don't taste like they used to. The Caro syrup was old school.
Right.
It's not. Actually, have I had blood in my mouth? It doesn't taste like it used to. Like, it used to disgust you. It used to be like having treacle in your mouth, and eventually, especially if you're working out in the heat and the flies and everything, and you've got this dirty stuff and sweet, sickly stuff in your mouth, it becomes your disgust response gets really honed to a very sharp point. But it's different now. Anyway, everything they use is beautifully crafted. In the old days, if they're throwing burning logs at you, they are throwing burning logs at you. Nowadays, it's digital, or like we have big fights in a colliery, like an engine, a boiler room, so there's coal everywhere. On Xena, we used to fall on actual coal. It hurt horribly. Nowadays, they have this stuff, it's like falling onto pillows. It looks like coal, it looks like igneous rock or something, and it's spongy, and I'm always like, so complimentary, so grateful to the art department for going to the trouble of not putting rocks, underneath our...
But now your reaction, though, has to be more acting rather than, oh, that rock hurt.
Well, you're still throwing yourself on the ground, so it's not
true.
hard. It's not
That's
hard.
true.
But it's so lovely not to be totally destroyed by the furniture,
Is there a younger generation of fans that recognize you as Ruby but don't know you as Xena or Battlestar Galactica?
No.
How do you describe the evil? And do you think it's exclusive for the demons?
Evil is exclusively for demons?
Do you believe it?
Oh, no, we've all got a little bit of it inside us. I'm not sure I really believe in I mean, I haven't met anybody evil myself. I know other people have, or feel they have. But, so maybe it is exclusively for demons. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that question.
Can you talk a little bit about balancing the human side of the story with all the gore? Because I think it is like a wonderful balance in this show.
Good. I don't know if this quite addresses the question the way but my character's role in this is to keep the importance of the mission. So, to remind people about the ticking clock. It's a big part of it, and she becomes more and more human with her exposure to the others, and that means actually being affected by them. So there's, she develops a bit of heart comes into it, and that. So Ash can have moments of heart, but he can't. He's got to come up with a smart-ass line pretty quick. He can't be all motherly and loving, but Ruby can. And it may in fact be one of her weapons.
Is the schedule on the show easier on you because with it being a half-hour show, and it keeps its pace certainly at a very, very breakneck pace, but is it an easier show to make being a half hour?
This is much more technical than any of the others. Because the how fast it's edited, you've got to have a lot of material in order to make that happen. So even though it's a half hour, we shoot as much as, in my opinion, as we ever did on Spartacus for an hour. Got 2 units running at all times, and because it's a 10 episodes, you have a shorter season, so you're still working from morning to night at the same pace. So no, the schedule of shooting, you're always up against it. You're just you've got to be on your mettle at every moment.
Great.
Every moment.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Bye.